under bright sun. Ih, anjing cekek. 血風剣白人一戦消滅る天
ゾーン C を制圧。
甚大空列熱風の子たち
ゾーン A を制圧。
食らえ。
甚大空列
喪失。
無駄だ通称だ血風剣殺人一戦
我は神。
ゾーン A を制圧。
日はまた昇る
ゾーン A を喪失。
食らえ。
ゾーン C を喪失。
諸行無常なり世の中は
ゾーン A を制圧。
花見かななんたる万有よやせくな将来接近だ白人一戦血風剣将来接近 それでしまいだ。手を我にや商業無情なり。
我は神。
将来です
食らえ。
セク
我は神。
ゾーン C を制圧。
将来です将来です
食らえ。
いない人来くぐる白人一戦将来接触
味方チーム崩壊中。
儚い夢から
我は神。
いない我にあ
味方チームが奮起。味方チーム崩壊中。敗北。
How's it going, everybody? First video in the new year. I hope everyone had a good start and the hangovers weren't too bad. I've promised for a while that I'll release an updated video to my really old how to gank tutorial. Things have changed a lot since then, not just in terms of character tweaks or even completely new ones, but also because we now know more about the game's nuances. And I'll also give the usual disclaimer here. I'm aware that not everyone may like this optimal playstyle. The general perception seems to be that the real skill lies in anti-ganking. You against many and you come out victorious. when in reality it's probably a lot because of the mistakes that the gankers made that allowed you to get revenge repeatedly and extend the fight over and over again. And being able to do so consistently is a skill in itself, no doubt about that. But please keep an open mind here when it comes to being on the side that outnumbers someone. Your objective is to, as quickly as possible, kill the solo person while trying to feed as little revenge as possible, meaning you get in as much confirmed damage as possible. Because if it takes you a long time, your other teammates on the opposing side of the map are the ones outnumbered and thus in a disadvantageous position, which you obviously try to avoid. I will structure this video a little different than most would expect. I will be going over basic concepts, basic building parts of a gank that can be put together and then form a proper gank. Just showing you advanced gank setups for very specific characters, and deleting someone's health pool completely doesn't really offer any real benefits when it comes to understanding why these specific moves work and why others don't. But as I mentioned before that anti-ganking is about the mistakes of the gankers, sometimes people do a lot of stuff that gets them into more trouble while being ganked. They basically gank themselves by opening themselves up to different punishes, and I don't mean getting parried or anything, it's much simpler actually. So what we're starting with is, when you gank someone, first look at the guy and observe what he's doing. If they're pressing a lot of buttons, that usually means they make your job a whole lot easier. By that I mean, instead of trying to waste the time of the gankers and trying to prolong the time for his teammates to be able to do stuff on the map, they try to win the inherently unfavourable situation. While attacking a single person is usually safe for the most part, the moment someone else is around, a lot of things no longer are. The simplest example here is a blocked light. The moment you block a non-enhanced light, your teammate can get a free guard break on that person, because all blocked lights count as superior blocks, meaning they stop the chain that puts you in recovery. And as you know, in the recovery, you cannot counter guard break, which ultimately means don't put yourself into long recoveries. Throwing out finishes or bashes that result in a lot of recovery is just giving the opponent free damage. This also includes guard breaks. Don't try and guard break unless it would ensure an instant kill with the environment, because if the other guy doesn't counter, you're stuck there with no damage reduction whatsoever. So know which move you can use to stall for longer and which you should avoid, as to not make your own situation even worse. But now for the actual ganking techniques, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. One of the simplest concepts, and something that's applied by everyone without even knowing, is to guarantee more damage by hit stun. This can both be from bash stun or actual hit stun from an attack. A little refresher here first, hit stun cannot be prolonged forever and it does reset after the second hit. Here is a very basic example. Your teammate gets a heavy, either from a guard break, from a parry or whatever, it doesn't really matter. This means that you can confirm your heavy as well, because the first attack does stagger for a certain amount of time, meaning you cannot block, parry or dodge it. As you can see, there is some damage reduction applied. This means you want to coordinate which attack should be first. Here is an example of the hit stagger resetting. The initial attack also confirms a bash, but the follow-up for that bash is no longer guaranteed. That is very important to keep in mind. You see similar stuff happen very often where people just randomly throw lights out and thus reset hit stun for higher damage and attacks that would have otherwise been confirmed. Here are a few examples of what it looks like during fights. The other one that I mentioned is a bash setting up for more damage. Bashes usually guarantee some sort of damage for yourself, but if a teammate coordinates his attack accordingly, then they can get a heavy in. Keep in mind that this feeds a ton of revenge. Doing this repeatedly will fill their bar rather quickly, but it is an effective way to finish someone off and get an execution out of it as well. Here is an example of a Warlord's Headbutt setting up for my unblockable heavies. One of the more powerful of these is definitely Gladiator's Toe Stab. The fact that it, for all intents and purposes, functions like a bash, but applies damage instantly instead of requiring a follow-up, already puts it on top. So setting up with a Toe Stab allows for the teammate heavy, all the while doing damage yourself, and at the same time not feeding the revenge that a bash does. I've shown this in a previous video. Toe Stab only feeds the amount of revenge of a 10 damage attack, but totally ignores the fact that it behaves like a bash. Here is an example of how to combine block stun to confirm Toe Stab to then confirm a follow-up heavy. This specific setup here requires enhanced lights, so you can do it with Warlord, Lawbringer, Jormungandr, Shugoki or PK against a bleeding opponent even. A blocked light block stuns the opponent, which sets up for the Toe Stab. The Toe Stab then guarantees the combo heavy. Which brings us to setting up with block stun. You've just seen how bashes can be set up like that. Other moves that can be guaranteed with it are running bashes. The most usable are crashing as well as stampede chop. These are basically setups for the ledge. I've shown this in my map change video already, so you should be familiar with it. Whether the person gets hit by the attack, blocks it or even parries it, it doesn't really matter. The purpose is to lock the person in some form of recovery where they cannot dodge out of the way of the charge. In Raider's case, this easily allows for another heavy for heavy. There is a distinct difference between a stampede charge and a stampede from a guard break. For whatever reason, the stampede version always gives damage reduction on the second heavy, whereas from a guard break, you get the lesser reduction from a hit stun, as we've discussed before. Shaman's Bite can be set up the same way, but we'll get to her full gank after we cover setting up with a guard break. Which is the next topic, setting up with a guard break. You might be scratching your head now because setting up for a guaranteed guard break is not really a thing. We are working with counter guard breaks here. Countering a guard break gives you a substantial amount of damage reduction, so throwing attacks at someone that is counter guard breaking only results in a lot of revenge gain and not in a lot of damage. But there are some multi-hit moves as well as bleed that do work off a counter guard break. The two main ones here are Zerka's Zone as well as Shaolin's triple sidelight. There is damage reduction on each of the first hits, but because all the follow-up attacks are guaranteed regardless, this still locks your opponent in a significant amount of hit stun. And we're already familiar with this from the first segment. Hit stun guarantees follow-up heavies from the teammate. And that's exactly how both the Berserker as well as the Shaolin gank work. In Shaolin's case, you need to delay the lights quite a bit to lengthen the amount of hit stun. The faster the heavy of your teammate, the easier it is to pull off. In Berserker's case, position is crucial here. You do not want to hit your teammate with your zone attack. Now here is a little mind game to counter this gank. If you know what your two opponents are doing, then you simply do one thing. You're not countering the guard break. This may sound a little counterintuitive, but here's what happens. You will be able to block the otherwise guaranteed heavy because hit stun works differently after a proper GB. Eating neutral guard breaks all the time obviously isn't the smartest thing to do, so if you, as the ganker, know that the guy won't counter, you can do the following. You can guarantee even more damage. As a Berserker, for example, you throw a top heavy off guard. Normally this isn't confirmed, but because both you and your teammate know what's going on, the first heavy is timed so that it confirms the top heavy. This can also be done when you know your guard break is confirmed. I mentioned the blocked light confirming one at the very beginning. That's one of these instances, so depending on which character each of you play, the order can be changed so it confirms slightly more damage. Now, the other thing that can be confirmed of counter guard breaks is bleed. The initial hit is damage reduced, but most of the time this is only 2 damage or something anyways. It's negligible, but the bleed is applied and it's applied fully. So now if we combine this with the previously mentioned block stun setup, here is a full Shaman gank. You GB for Shaman's bleed stat, then the shaman goes into pounce stance and waits for the setup. Either the attack connects, it's blocked or parried, you immediately go in for the bite. If the opponent dodges, you time it accordingly. But do wait for the setup and don't jump the gun, or you'll get hit out of the bite by the setup attack. Then this confirms another heavy from your teammate. Block stun ganks against BP do not work because of the fast flow into bulwark and then the counter. Bait it out and go for a GB, or try to hit the end of the counter GB with the bite. It's not easy to land one on a competent BP. Here is an example of multiple of the previously mentioned things. First is a block light that leads into a ledge. Then we have an overeager lawbringer that throws out attacks which lets me freely bleed him. Then I get a setup for a bleed with a block stun. Lawbringer's Impale gank also uses a GB setup. Countering a guard break or being guard broken removes your guard, which means that your Lawbringer can land his Impale on you. It's on the Lawbringer to angle it correctly to either ledge or reach a wall. The wall sprat confirms the long arm, which then in turn confirms Lawbringer's side heavy and the teammate's heavy. Lawbringer's long arm can also be set up by block stun, hit stun, bash stun, etc. One more thing to use guard break for is to time it correctly to catch the few frames in which a person doesn't have damage reduction. This is mostly used for unblockables. The key here is to catch the person either during a parry attempt or between the moment the GB connected and him not having pressed counter guard break yet. If mistimed, you just gave the person a huge chunk of revenge for very little damage. But this is an easy way to confirm and execute and finish off an opponent who's been sitting on 1 HP. The damage reduction doesn't matter in that case. And that's pretty much it. These are your building blocks for ganking people. I've already shown you some, like Shaman's Bite, that incorporate many of these in multiple stages. There are obviously way more out there, but some are extremely character dependent and also require proper coordination. I'll show you a few here, but be creative if you want. Your goal at first should be to properly incorporate the simple ones in your gameplay. Opponents do not always behave exactly like you want them to. Revenge can also absolutely mess up an even perfect setup. Most of what I've shown you is really straightforward, but it still requires coordination with your teammates, and all parties involved need to know what they're supposed to do. So go practice and don't end up a fool in some random anti-gank montage throwing non-stop top heavies like a bellend. Let me know if you have any additional questions. This video can be expanded on if the need arises. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.
So, you watch all of my gank videos, you're ready to start doing them with your team, and you don't know where to start to practice. So, it's been a minute. I've been kind of wanting to make something like this on how my team used to do it, how we used to practice and stuff. I hope this helps you guys if you guys are looking to practice at all. This isn't like, you don't have to do this necessarily, but this does help quite a bit in getting more consistent in your ganks and stuff. And in this video we'll be showing how I used to do with my team, and also showing a bunch of fuck ups too, because I did fuck up a lot, and this goes with the practice. So without further ado, we'll start. The first things first, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick a gank, something as simple as like maybe the bash gank or something, and then you're gonna practice it. Practice it enough times, wait for the tags to run out, do all that, repeat. Do it with one teammate, then do it with the next, and then maybe try the other character that you're working with if they also have a bash or something. Whatever you're gonna do, just make sure you guys are practicing these till you guys get them down. So now that you've gotten all that memorized and stuff, now you're gonna have the person defend themselves. The first round they weren't defending themselves at all, they were just allowing you to just get the gank down, figuring it out. Now they're gonna try to defend themselves. Your teammate is going to learn how to stall longer, and you two are going to try to gank the person. Do whatever you can to gank, and try to get the gank as clean as possible in the fastest amount of time as possible. If you can't get it that fast, that's okay. If you're practicing, it doesn't really matter. But this helps with practicing stalling and practicing ganking. If you're looking into being in a competitive team or anything like that, this is something that a lot of competitive teams do. They decide to go into a custom match and practice their ganking before they go into a scrim or anything like that. This is a good way of getting those little micro mistakes and fixing them up, learning how your teammate plays, and things like that. Just little things like that that help out in the long run. This does get boring, but trust me, it does help. You really do need to go into this to actually get some practice, not just in MM. It really helps out. Here's where it gets more interesting. Now you do the exact same thing that you were doing before, which is just ganking the person while they're fighting back, but now you have a timer on the other person, simulating a rotation, and you give them about 15 seconds or so. You can change it, go up or down if you want. But once those 15 seconds are up, if you didn't kill that person, then the teammate will come in and it will be like as if they rotated in. Now you have to work with a team fight and try to gank. And lastly, there's nothing better than actually doing some 2v2 practice. When you're doing the 2v2 practice, just make sure that you guys are practicing your 2s, making sure you don't get blown up and everything, all those 2 stuff. Remember to gank where you can and stuff, especially towards the end of the fight. That's usually where you're going to be able to get a gank for sure. Just practicing everything like that will get you better at looking for the spots that you need a gank during a match. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the other things that you can do is just keep practicing like that. You can go into MM and practice. You can go into a scrim set and practice. However you're getting it done, just make sure that you're remembering how to do your ganks and fundamentals and stuff. If you like this video and it helps you out, consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see, and also if you want anything specific from me or anything like that. I mean, I can make more videos like this if you guys want, but just let me know what you guys want. Alright, have a good one.
商業無情なり。
ゾーン B を制圧。
日がまた昇る。消滅の点。よっ。未熟な。
ゾーン B を喪失。味方チーム崩壊中。
世の中は地獄の上の花見かな。なんとも言うよ。将来
味方チーム崩壊中。味方チームが奮起。敵チーム崩壊中。味方チーム崩壊中。勝利。
How's it going, everybody? So, the long-awaited revenge guide. About time. I've been procrastinating on that one for I don't know how many months now. Revenge is probably one of the most misunderstood, or rather least understood mechanics in the game. Many players have certain expectations towards it, and if those aren't fulfilled, they claim it's not working properly. So here we are. This will be as in-depth a guide as I can make it, so please watch the whole thing and pay proper attention, as not everything is immediately obvious and you might have to re-watch certain parts. The video will be separated in a few subsections. When do you get revenge, how much revenge you get, and what properties you have while being in revenge. And we will start with the most important one first, as it's also the one most people know the least about. When do you actually get revenge? aka, how does the tag system work? To determine whether you are actually eligible to gain revenge, For Honor uses a tag system. Every time you attack someone, or when someone attacks you, a tag is applied. You can have up to 4 tags on you, and you can also apply up to 4 tags, 1 on each opposing player. A tag lasts for exactly 5 seconds and refreshes every time an offensive action is performed. Attacks, GBs, bashes, and so on. I will talk about exceptions in just a bit. Whether you have tags on you or have applied to other players is not represented in the UI. You need to keep an overview of the fight and the clock to be able to reliably tell when you get or feed revenge respectively. A recent patch introduced a revenge meter around the emblems or symbols, yet tags are still on you to keep track of. And here comes the first misconception that leads to a lot of confusion and angry clips. To actually gain revenge, you need a minimum of 2 tags applied to you. That is what everyone knows. But does this mean you will always gain revenge with 2 tags? No, you do not always get to fill your revenge bar just because you have 2 tags. The critical thing here is the following. To gain revenge, you not only need a minimum of 2 tags, you also need to have at least 1 more tag applied to you than the opposing player that is hitting you. This means that if your opponent also has 2 tags on them, you will not gain revenge. In this situation, you need a minimum of 3 tags on you. This is to prevent excessive revenge gain during team fights or in general even numbered fights. Let's look at examples. I have color coded these clips and have these little revenge tag timers. I hope it is clear which timer belongs to which player. Let's get over this again then. Like I said, each attack, GB, bash, etc. applies a tag. That tag lasts 5 seconds. Once a second tag is applied to you, you will start gaining revenge. Both opposing players have 0 tags on them at this point. If I attack one or even both of them, then they each have 1 tag, but as I meet the requirements of a minimum of 2 tags on me, plus having at least 1 more than them, I continue to gain revenge in this fight. Once one of them stops attacking me, then I will no longer have 2 tags, thus I will no longer fill my revenge meter. Now let's apply an equal number of tags to everyone. All 4 players have 2 tags on them. As explained before, this will lead to no revenge gain for any of them. The minimum requirement of 2 tags is met, yet no one has 1 more tag than the other. Well, that's not the only requirement for team fights. I know that there are a lot of numbers on the screen and it's not immediately obvious which belongs to whom. So let's rewatch the middle part again and I'll explain the additional requirement. In this scenario here, I did have 2 tags already and my opponent had 1 or less. But I did not gain revenge while the George still had 1 active tag. This means that tags carry additional information, meaning it knows it was a 2 tag, for the lack of a better term. For me to gain revenge, all those tags needed to drop first, before I started filling my box. In team fights, once people start to focus someone, tags will drop and eventually someone will be able to gain revenge. This is how people end up with revenge sometimes, yet next time you finish a 2-minute fight with like 30% of your revenge bar. Case in point, here we have a 3v2 in which we meet the requirements. It's not that easy to stage these, so try and follow along with the tags and try and identify when I gained revenge and when you previously thought I should have gained revenge. Mute me and watch it at half speed or something. This is just something you need to learn to identify yourself. Tag management is important in this game, and even having rudimentary knowledge about it is probably more than most people can claim for themselves. If it's only one thing you take away from this video, then let it be this: the way how tags work. Every single clip that's been posted since the revenge fix, where someone is complaining about not getting revenge despite being ganked, could be explained with this. I was not joking last time when I said that revenge is indeed working as intended at the moment. But we are far from done here, because not every single offensive action does apply a revenge tag. There are moves that do not, most specifically feats. All damage dealing feats work just like attacks, so no worries there. But debuff feats, while giving an assist tag, meaning you gain renown from a takedown, they do not add a revenge tag. This means that you can contribute to a fight without any downside. This covers the section about when you gain revenge. The next point is how much do you gain? What factors influence how fast or sometimes how slow you fill your revenge meter? First one, the base HP of your hero. The lower your HP, the faster you gain revenge. Currently Shinobi has the lowest amount of health, thus gains revenge the fastest. An important thing to remember here is that I said base HP. Every perk or feat that increases your health does not play a role here and are irrelevant when it comes to revenge. Second factor, the type of attack. It doesn't really matter whether it is a light or a heavy, important is the amount of damage it does. The more damage it does, the more revenge it feeds. A very important aspect here is that damage reduction will not affect your revenge gain negatively. You will gain the full revenge based on the base damage of an attack. This also means that debuffs on you or buffs on your opponent do not change the amount of revenge an attack feeds. Other moves like bashes and GBs have a base amount that they feed, which has been named as 20 in previous patch notes. As we don't really know the number of a full bar, we can only speculate. For GBs, it doesn't matter whether those are successful, countered, or even bounced. They always feed the exact same amount. Feats follow their own rules. There are many non-damaging feats that feed quite a significant amount. Ki is a good example here. I will not go over each and every one here, especially since we can't really quantify the amount properly anyways. Damage over time does not feed revenge at all. That is another big advantage of bleed damage especially. Only the direct damage portion of bleed attacks does feed revenge, whereas the dot itself will not. Then we have different multipliers that also play a big role. The first patch, dodging, successful hit, block or parry. In the order I just listed them, they feed from the least to the most. Yes, you heard right, dodging offers the least amount of revenge gain. It still follows the same rules, as in a potentially higher damaging attack will feed more if dodged. Main problem here is that it is quite inconsistent. From what we can tell, only if you dodge an attack during your iframes will it count towards revenge. Yet many attacks can be dodged in a far bigger window, which will mean you gain absolutely nothing. The second one depends on the tags again. The more outnumbered you are, the more revenge you get. The multipliers are as follows: 0.6 in a 1v2, 0.8 in a 1v3, and 0.9 in a 1v4. These are once again numbers given to us by Ubisoft. What we can deduce here is that adding a third tag is always a horrible idea. Once 3 are added, might as well throw in the 4th. The person will gain revenge no matter what. So, in complicated team fights with a non-stop change in numbers of tags, what multiplier does apply on a, let's say, a 2v3 for example? From our testing, it's the same as a 1v2. So tags act in relation to each other, and it's not just counting the highest number. It's probably linked to what I explained in the tag section, that they hold more information. Now, when will your revenge meter drop down again? First of all, when you unlock. It takes exactly 5 seconds before it starts dropping. For the bar to go down to 0, it depends on the hero. As an example, it's 7.7 seconds on a 120 HP hero and 9.2 on 140 HP ones. You can, however, hold revenge by locking on to another opponent within said time frame. This resets the timer. I will talk more about revenge holding in just a little bit. But it is important to be locked onto a player. Being locked onto nothing will not stop the timer. Feats like Smoke Bomb that force you to drop your lock on can also cause this. While unlocked, you will also not gain any revenge, no matter how many tags you currently have on you. Being out of lock makes you ineligible for revenge gain, but you will collect and keep tags while unlocked, meaning you will gain revenge the moment you log on again, and you will not have to be tagged again. The last thing to cover here is the feed revenge attacks. It is available on PK, Gladiator, Zerker, Shaman, Nobu, Orochi, Shinobi, Nushan, and JJ. Quite a few. It works independently of the tag system, meaning you can get revenge in a 1v1, and multiple tags on you will not increase the amount you get from it. It adds a flat amount of revenge for each successful hit, depending on two things. First, the HP of your character. That's the other thing. The less you have, the more you gain. To give you an idea, for a 120 HP character, it takes 20 heavies to fill it, and for a 140 HP character, they need 23. And the second criterion, whether it's a light or heavy, the damage of each attack does not matter. It's all about whether the attack is considered a heavy or a light. This is one of the main reasons why Berserker benefits so much from it. His zone attack counts as 4 heavy, so he can fill his full bar with 5 zones. Bashes and feats do not give you any revenge. This should cover all the criteria for how much revenge you gain. With the additional outline that has been added just recently, people could be able to very much have a rough idea during a fight about how much revenge they have already fed and how much additional attacks will feed. Alright, so now you know when and how much revenge you can get in each specific scenario. So, what if you finally got it? What then? Revenge has quite a few properties that you should know about. First thing, the auto parry when you pop it. It takes 100 milliseconds for the parry to activate. It is not instant, so keep that in mind when you do it on the reaction to a light attack. This also is important for ganks, as you can hit within the 100 milliseconds time window to get additional damage in. Said auto parry has a duration of 800 milliseconds. Those active frames can be cancelled by actions. That used to include even guard switch, which has been fixed, but as soon as you start moving or throwing out attack, those parry frames are cancelled. The punish for each hero on a revenge knockdown can be found in my Max Punish video, so look them up there if you are unfamiliar with them for the heroes that you play. Now that you are in revenge, you have a 30% increase in damage, which follows the usual damage stacking rules. Additionally, you have a 120 HP shield, and all of that lasts for exactly 8 seconds. On top of all that, your attacks are now armored. To be precise, it is super armor, meaning that neither attacks nor bashes can interrupt you once you are in a move. You also have no GB vulnerability on any of them. It's just between attacks that you're still susceptible to interrupts in form of attacks, bashes or GBs. During throws, aids, bashes and feats that can interrupt you. Your own GBs are also armored and do ignore GB vulnerability. That means you can grab opponents out of their attacks. Your throws while in revenge function the same as if your opponent was out of stamina. Every throw will knock them to the floor, same as every parry that you get. And one more property, your attacks are now all enhanced. Your lights will no longer bounce on blocks. Most of you have probably been familiar with all of that already, but never hurts to have them all listed. So now for a few of the problems that a lot of the community agrees with. Well, I'm not going to go into the whole debate whether the tag system is actually the best system that Ubisoft could have come up with, as that would require a lot of testing and tweaking, so just us debating it on a theoretical level will probably not get us anywhere. But there are some problems that I want to mention. The first one is revenge holding. I know the clip here is pretty old, but it's rare to find people mess up this hard, so I saved it. The fact that you have no timer on when you need to pop your revenge can lead to quite weird fight scenarios, even to a point where it's possible to get, have and hold revenge while ganking someone. The current limitations when it comes to holding revenge are way too lax. Whatever approach you want to take here, instant pop once revenge is filled, or give it a timer of, let's say, within 10 seconds of getting a revenge, you need to pop it. Because it's pretty much impossible to fight someone in a 1v1 that is holding on to a full bar. The other one is one that actually leads to problems like I just mentioned, where people end up with revenge while ganking someone. That is, tags from a person need to disappear the very moment they die. Tags persisting throughout death is extremely annoying. Now with the additional outline and the fact that we know exactly how much revenge our opponent has, this might be a less common scenario now, but it can still happen that the outnumbering party somehow pulls revenge out of their arse because the tags from people they just killed remain on them. In conclusion, whether you gain revenge is very much in control of your attackers. A lot of the time it's actually detrimental for you to even start attacking when outnumbered, as that would mean you aren't being attacked, meaning you don't gain revenge. People that know how to manage this and also know how tags work, which most of you should know now, will not needlessly give someone revenge. Oftentimes, it doesn't even have to be the case. If some random clown puts themselves out of stamina while ganking, this also means he's not feeding anything and probably also results in the attacks drop. Alright, let's just leave it at that now. We're probably almost at 20 minutes by now, and this is a lot of info all at once, but now you at least have a source to look it all up again. A huge shout out to everyone that has helped gather the information and especially helped record all of this. Recording alone was probably close to 8 hours, so thank you for your time guys, and also for all the extra info. I hope that this video has shed some light on the topic of revenge, but should there still be questions, feel free to ask them down below. Or even better, join my Discord and ask there. Having said all that, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Later everybody.
将軍無情なり。将来せし。消滅する点。消滅する点。将来せし。 滅る天未熟な
ゾーン A を制圧。
日はまた昇る将来接し信頼する
ゾーン A を放出。
すぐやめだ
ゾーン A を制圧。
世の中は地獄の上の花見かな
味方チーム崩壊中。
日はまた昇る消滅する天将来接し白人一戦
敗北。
Yo, what's up? My name is Blitz. I will be showing you some 2v2 scrims today. We are...
Yo, what's going on, everybody? So, I thought a long time about how I absolutely hate how feats work in the game. Feats are abilities in For Honor, right? They're kind of like supposed to be a win more mechanic, or hey, if you're doing well and you're trying to catch up, then you might be able to like make a comeback based on like your feats and how well you utilize them and stuff. But the way feats are, I feel like sometimes they're just underpowered.
Nice.
And sometimes they're just completely broken, and they hardly ever get changes. Now, I think the way the devs are going about using feats with newer characters is very good, right? They're like making them synergize with their moveset and playstyle. You can see like Meje, Afira. I mean, even like as far back as like BP, right? They kind of just make their feats good them, and like they basically make it so that they don't really have great other feat options, like not completely broken. I think that they do that on purpose, but the main cast is largely remain untouched, and I think we need to like kind of look at that. So you have feats like Fire Flask, right, which is just completely broken. I mean, a feat that does that much, like completely cleans the fight. Like you look at Meje tier 4, where it's 70 damage to one person. Okay, just use Flask. You use Flask, you maybe even pop Fury or Inspire, you get 70 damage onto 4 people. And then you win the entire thing and clear off a significant portion of the map, right? And it and it persists there. Now, while it can be countered by healing feats, it is not really clear to actually pop those healing feats a lot of time if the team is coordinated. Like, all right, yeah, you have Soothing Mist. You can just say, I'm gonna Soothing Mist, freaking L ratio, right? But then you just get spammed by everybody and their mother and their dog, right? And it's kind of harder to use Soothing Mist. Anyways, I think feats like Flask, they should look at them a bit more, and it should be more of kind of like an area denial type of feat. Like the feat kick, like it persists there and it cuts off a large portion of the map. I think it shouldn't do as much direct damage, and it shouldn't even deploy fast enough. It's a great tool at like completely dominating mid lane. So I think while you should have to use some brain power instead of just Omega lol. There's 3 people. I throw Flask. Is somebody GB for it? That you should have to actually think about how to use it. And another thing is, why do we have feats
Out is Mo has been playing absolutely exceptional here for Blackjacks. He unlocked tier 4 and was using Phalanx to help out the team like within 15 minutes still left on the clock, and this guy has just been absolutely incredible in all the situations where you see them constantly 2v2. I think it's single-handedly making sure Black Jackals are winning as well as they are.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I think that's what we're seeing now. Will Len able to take down Duty. Now looking for more. It's Mo taking down Pilker in the B lane. It looks like better than you is basically just tying up the scoreboard overall, but with a nice couple kills there, puts Black Jackals back out on top. As I say that, you saw Mago getting executed off with a 15-second execution. So it's some time, but really it's not enough. With this extra point cap, now it's almost Black Jackal's putting BTU into breaking.
Really good job by
There you
Will
go.
in there to finish that fight into B, and that is what's going to lead to this breaking right now. Doing those dash forward mix-ups there with the throwing stars, that animation is very, very similar to the dash forward heavy. So using that to pick out an opponent, making him fish for a parry pass, and picking out the kill with the throwing stars. Mo now getting that guard break over onto Duty. Duty, wow, he actually expected the guard break there, and that heavy's just gonna fly. Mo taking him out. Naz shouted it out directly. Mo flying out of him.
Absolutely. I mean, Black Jackal's whole squad really playing great, but Mo, from the first couple of minutes, just on fire. This is Black Jackals. They've come out the gate swinging, and they're going to be taking their first map overall, and looking great doing so. Better Than You is going to have to tighten things up moving forward.
Yeah, I have to say, Better Than You did a pretty good job of stemming the bleeding a bit after they lost so horribly. You know, you wouldn't have expected them to be even close to in the match at all. At one point, I believe the score was about 400-0, as you're seeing just how badly they got outfought. Mo with the perfect 10-0, we shouted it out. Kusada Mago himself with a 10-1. And then just, I mean, all across the board on the side of Black Jackals, everyone playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, literally the whole team's got MVP numbers there. It's, and you said it, I think it's kind of crazy that BTU did have a couple of minutes there where they were within 100 points, but it was that soft point lead that we see. It's like you're holding the point and it feels close. As soon as your opponent grabs the point, it flips back and you're like 200, 300 points behind.
Yeah, I mean, in my matchmaking games, when the match starts like that, 2 players immediately drop. So Better Than You, they did an amazing job of getting back out onto the map. You know, there's definitely some fight in these guys, even though they got so outperformed. They're able to tie up these team fights a little bit, just perform a little bit crisper. I think that they can definitely take game number 2.
Yeah, just tighten up, play a little bit crisper. It's hard for me to say, like, Mo didn't die. He just making rotations. It's like, yeah, I can play a little bit tighter, but at some point you're going to have to be starting to get some kills on these things.
Yeah, really, it all started out with that initial fight. It was just won so hard by Black Jackals, and it's hard to really say exactly what went wrong. Maybe just a little bit of miscommunication or not dodging when they should have on some of those external heavies, but just so much damage even early on. They won the fight so fast that they're able to just rotate super quickly. So just never really gave up control of the game after that. I think, though, it is time for map number 2. We got the map review with Vivid Knots.
Oh boy, now we're gonna ruin the tranquility of Temple Garden. So Temple Garden, a map we've seen plenty of times in the EU side. It's very similar to Overwatch in the sense there is a lot of priority initially on the C point and B point, but we did see some teams try and run for this A point and capture it to get those early points, especially if they're the team losing on that initial C point. I think what Better Than You needs to do this match is to basically silence them. I feel like they need to shut down Mo, and if they can shut down Mo, they'll have a good chance of trying to win a map from Black Jackals.
Well, shutting down Mo, see if that's the trick, if that's what they have to do. Then Sohinki says they have to tighten up as a team. Vivinaz says they need to get onto Mo, crush him, destroy his spirits, not let him start snowballing and getting his tier 4 feet unlocked 3 minutes into the game. I mean, when you can phalanx your whole team, basically at the point where you're starting the snowball, it's I don't even know how you deal with it.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Naz hit on something really important. Obviously, Mo was playing so well, and that might just be a matchup thing, so it might be something where they try and isolate him a little bit more. Make sure that Shinobi's on him, that Sickle Rain gank on a character that just likes to dodge a lot is very potent because of the undodgeable version of Sickle Rain. Obviously, that can lead into, like, guard break nicks and stuff like that, so it ends up being a lot harder for the JJ to fight if there's a Shinobi around just trying to make sure that he can't really do what he wants to do. That being said, obviously JJ's got tools that he can use to avoid him, and honestly, Black Jackals, if they can find a way to not get Mo isolated, I'm sure that they're going to have it in the bag because these guys are just so sharp.
Yeah, and it was Will Lin that was playing the Shinobi, if I remember correctly. But moving in here, this is going to be fun. We got some Raider action, and you really got to bring it out here. Better Than You looked outclassed. If I don't see it here, I'm gonna give up on him and switch over to be a Black Jackals fan.
I respect it. Immediately abandoning ship. You know, sometimes it's what you gotta do. When you see the water flooding in the bottom, you throw your bucket away. You say, "Hey, this bucket's not doing anything," and you bail out.
Yeah, bail. Let's see though. I mean, I'd love to see a little bit of a shake-up here and surprises as we move forward into this one. But no surprises here with our early rotation, 3v3 over in C. Looks like B was capped by Black Jackals and A capped by Better Than You. So a little bit interesting how they decided to split up on that first and initial rotation. I'm going to be watching the view over here from Verdonis, who's just getting absolutely chopped up and destroyed up against the edge of these tree roots. Blast Revenge is going to be triggered off. Now we'll go take a view over Will Lynn's shoulders, over Mio's shoulder, now who had the Revenge triggered off. This will be timing out in just a second here. But looking to go back on the Will Lynn, not able to quite connect on it, getting just kicked in the face. This guy, he had no teeth left, and just getting kicked in the face over and over. But look at these low health bars. This is just the prime time when he left the zone. People, Black Jackals, they're gonna lose one, they're gonna lose two. It looks like they're possibly gonna lose three here. As Willin trying to dance around, but he can't get out of there. He knows incredibly low, but it's only gonna take one fight, one knockback for him to go down here. Stays alive, just throwing blows, not playing with fear, but at the end of the day, Better Than You take 8 against.
Really surprised, honestly, that BTU was able to take that fight so convincingly toward the end there, because it was Duty, I think, that rotated into A to get that quick rotation back over to C once they capped it. And of course, they've been collecting those points this entire time. The strategy ended up paying off because the late rotation from Duty is what allowed them to close out that fight.
Speaking of Duty, it's going to be chopped down by Will Lynn on the Shinobi, able to get 1 kill, make that 2, do a backflip, and come on forward as his team just munches up Better Than You like a little Scooby snack. What seemed to be a powerhouse in the first engagement just folded on that one.
Folded indeed, and I think the respawns just came in too fast for Better Than You to heal on the C point. That's what can happen when that fight is so prolonged, and shoutouts to Mo once again, able to stall just enough time. They were not able to get that heal off. Ultimately, Black Jackal's flooding back into the point and taking it over. So now the fighting breaks back out on the B.
Bordonis knocked back and they go ahead and breach him. Now he wants to approach this fight. Satomago, nice damage applied there. He's going to go for another one. That's Duty that's going to be knocked back. Making massive chunk damage. Satomago low on stamina, but waits for that to easily refill back up before re-engaging. He's just doing 360s here. And kind of like target swapping with a dodge. He's just very quickly can be from one hero on to the next. Will Lynn, you can hear the bell ringing in there. He's knocked up. Will Lynn maybe able to get the kill, but it's actually killed by the ally. He's trying to get back. Will go down to minions there. Will Lynn ready to
Will doing a good job of pursuing, making sure that he can't get away, and kind of really forcing him to take that run. Got him, but Will now going to get caught in that guard break mix. Is able to dodge that external. I thought that heavy might hit him, but he's able to dodge it. Lands the unblockable sickle rain, goes for the kick mix up, and that is going to be a kill. Will Lynn with the clutch, going to get the execution as well. And I have to imagine he's now going to go reinforce C, but it is unfortunately going the way of BTU right now. Looks as though they're just trying to stall up the Raider. No, gets caught from behind. But here we see the rest of... Actually, Will Lynn is going to get caught by Duty, it looks like, in the middle after that execution. So not going to be able to reinforce the squad. Really good job from Duty off of the respawn, making sure that backup hit.
And now Duty's looking for the rotation while Bordonis is the one that's going to be falling down on the C-point. Mo looking to have an impact, but this is Duty showing up right at the time that he didn't have any stamina. So now Duty able to just give him the old 1-2. It looks like Better Than You has the opening to take Black Jackals, but as you see that, it's Jasu moving back in, so they're just kind of stalled on their respawn timers, and it means that people just keep flooding in off of the respawns. It means this is just really a back and forth matchup, so someone gets a strong advantage in this team fight and wins the fast.
If you look at the point totals here, it is basically dead even. The closest match we've really seen all day. That external coming through is going to be dodged. Really good job there to avoid all that damage, but Will Lynn's going to eat a guard break. and quite a bit of damage off of that. But one more touch is going to mean that he gets revenge here. So this is a little bit of an awkward spot for BTU. That is going to be the kill, though, landing that guard break. And now Mo is going to have to do what Mo does, trying to stall as long as he can, but going to get guard broken out of that dodge heavy. The sickle rain's going to come through. This is going to be death right here off of the kick. Excellently executed there by BTU. Now things are going to become a little awkward for Black Jackals as they are trying to get back out onto the map with one of these respawns taking forever.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the not a little awkward, but really awkward. With the Shugo over here up against Filker, you'd like to see him getting more damage off. 60% health. They have to combo it. They have to get this kill in the next 30 seconds or so. Unfortunately, Revenge triggered off. There's no way around it. They're going to go ahead and play through it. The damage was connected. Give me a heavy. He'll just give him a headbutt. Nice parry there by Pilker, continuing to buy time for his team. He's got no help to work with. Duty doing a little bit of healing for him. Pilker still alive. Headbutt will get the kill from Sadamago. Switching over to Duty. Shinobi in a 1v2. He's going to get his back into as well. Very and they'll get the kill. This is some critical health there. Nice plays by Black Jackals. Will seal the deal on A. But still in a point deficit as Better Than You controls C.
Yeah, it was just that awkwardness of the respawn that causes them to be a bit behind in points right now, but really, really well executed on those ganks with the Shugoki. It's just so hard to avoid. If you have to even counter guard break once, you're basically locked into losing like 80% of your life. Very well executed by Black Jackals.
Looking in towards B here. It's really, it always feels awkward when you get pulled this far to the edge of the lane, and you're just not on your own side. But Duty, he's fighting with some minions to his back as Mo pressures on forward. They're not able to secure the deal. Oh, look at that, coming out of left field, Will in. So fast on that Shinobi, and just rotates and gets on the edge of you so quickly. Great job. They give him the old 1, 2, 3. 2 executes. There's the respawn, but 2 heroes dead for Better Than You. Another 10 seconds, giving Black Jackals the opportunity to go heal up and basically, time to think about where do we even want to rotate on the map. We can do whatever we want.
Will Lin has been performing so well in these team fight scenarios with his target swaps. He comes out of nowhere with a lot of these kicks to close out the damage needed to finish a lot of these fights. Really well played from him there. Even shooting through the enemy minions to make sure you confirm that kill onto Duty, not allowing Duty to get away. And now they're just going to hold mid and A, it looks like. They finally got the point advantage back on their side, but unfortunately, Kusadamago finding himself in a really awkward position here, forced to pop the Juggernaut. Is going to land a nice guard break into heavy there. Pops the tier 4. Now this could be really bad for BTU. If they lose this fight, this might just be the game here. Nice parry there. Oh, the wall is going to block the hit from Kusadamago. Once again, just really awkward position here as he can so much minion damage as well. Gonna pop off the revenge, and now being forced to just retreat over to C, or to A, but it looks as though someone on the side of Black Jackals, realizing that a lot of the attention is played in the middle, is gonna just go cap C.
Oh my goodness, and they've got the kills. Will Lin taking down Pilker. Mayo falling down as well. He gets healed off the back of that execute. Heals up on C, and that's Black Jackals. Just in the moment, the most critical moment of the entire game, taking huge fights and putting Better Than You into breaking up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. It is Black Jackals' game to close out.
Really smart job there on the backside of that fight. Duty actually kills his own teammate to try and get the res. Unfortunately, Black Jackals was paying attention. They basically just killed his teammate for no reason, and now it's unfortunately a 4v2 scenario. It was really just clutch plays, noticing when they could back cap that home point, and now being breaking with nowhere to heal, literally the worst possible situation.
Not much of an opportunity, especially when you're playing up against a squad like Black Jackals. They knew Globe was in the water. They're going to take game 2, and they're going to take the first series of the day for the North American Dominion Series Finals. This is a great way to start the series, seeing Black Jackals coming out swinging here. Better Than You, they're going to have to tighten things up moving forward.
Better Than You definitely looked a lot better in that map, but the real individual plays on the side of Black Jackals shined quite a bit. Mo with his anti-ganks. Will Lin, though, 13-3, absolutely popping off in those team fights. Just always got his eye on who's in a vulnerable position and able to use those double dashes to cut through and really just make sure that he always is punishing on the side of BTU.
Absolutely. A bit of a rough start for BTU, but they are not done. They are down to lows now, and we will see them again fighting for their lives down there. But I gotta say, Black Jackals came out pretty as expected. A very, very strong intro to a team that many believe are kind of the favorites so far coming in here. Did it live up to the hype, you think, Humanist? Did they look as you expected?
Yeah, definitely. I think it started off a little bit slow, but it was great to see. I mean, Willin on the Shinobi was just phenomenal, getting a lot of kills and executes as well. It was interesting. We saw his opponent, Shinobi, doing more rotating objective taking, whereas he was just like a pure fighting style, taking objectives if he happened to be there, and it worked out really well for them.
All right, well, Mr. Sohinki, why don't we go back into some of those highlights from that very quick series here, and you can walk us through what we should have been looking for, because it was in a blink of an eye.
All right, from moment number one and game number one, it really was all Black Jackals. Usada Mago here doing a great job in that initial fight, so much so that they were able to turn the 1v1 middle into a 2v1. BTU fought back a little bit. I was actually surprised. I thought this was going to be like game one of our first game in the EU series, like a 1300 to 100, but BTU did a pretty decent job of having composure even after such a rough start. You see Mio there getting that nice execution onto Will Lin, but unfortunately for them, Will Lin does respawn. It's not like you kill him once and he's out of there. He came in, that was the thing I pointed out, where he was kind of faking when he was going to throw those stars and ultimately landing them. Really well done, using that feat to close the kill out. And it was just, I mean, it was a masterclass in team fighting here. It was just a masterclass in using your characters. Every single person on, I think that's really what makes Black Jackals so strong. Every single person on the team is just world class. And then going into game number two, it was more of the same. There were some stumbles. It was BTU winning this initial team fight on C thanks to that rotation from Duty. But ultimately, Black Jackals, they showed the best composure here. They came back out strong. And they, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this team. They're just playing so well.
Absolutely. It was quite the beatdown there that we saw. And time has come to ask if anybody is actually able to give them any kind of fight here. But we will find out very soon, as we will find their next opponent as well as Better Than You's next opponent, thanks to our next series. Team Killing Service versus On Flask. Now, there's a lot of players in here. There's a lot of different characters, but I have never forgotten On Flask, because these guys live up to their name. The Fire Flasks come out like my redneck wedding. I mean, there's Molotovs being thrown all over the place down in the Deep South. So this is going to be one hell of a match, and I'm super excited to see. Gentlemen, what do you think about the next one? Let's put that last one to rest and talk a little bit about what we're in for. We've seen both these teams a lot. Team Killing Service, Humanist, I believe one of your personal favorites. Do you think they stand a chance in this one?
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with what you're talking about, the Molotov cocktails in the South. But,
don't worry about it.
Whatever the case, yeah. Team Killing Service, definitely one of my favorites. You know it. It's no secret. I think Scorpion's one of my favorite players across all the regions, let alone NA. So, a great squad, and I expect them to perform really well today.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this winner semifinal. It is time to welcome our team to the arena and get ready to see them take each other apart. Don't forget, chat, by the way, exclamation point TKS or exclamation point OF to determine who you think will be winning this fantastic winners semi-final. Don't worry, if you get it wrong, no one's going to make fun of you except for everybody here. Now, map draft coming up. These are the maps that the teams have chosen. So, Hinky, what do you think about these?
It's no secret from the other majors that TKS really likes sort of more of this 2v2 rotational style, so I'm not surprised to see them pick High Fort and Harbor. Looks like On Flask looking for those team fights, picking Sanctuary Bridge in game number 2, and if they do live up to their name, that makes sense. You know, they want to land a Fury Flask on 4 people and just burn them to a crisp. But basically, it's just going to come down to which team is able to impose their will. TKS, if they're able to force these 2v2s, or On Flask, if they're able to maybe pick out some team fights and, you know, be able to death ball around the map.
And here we go for the first time in the Dominion Series Grand Final. finals today, we will be seeing High Four. Now, I've got a lot of money riding on TKS. I'm really hoping to pull it out of the bag on this one against On Flask. High Four is what is the largest map that we have in the pool here today. You do see a lot of these split fights, as Sahinki alluded to, these 2v2 focused fights, where there's more of a focus on that CMB just because of the rotation to that central point. So, it'll be interesting to see who wins out in this 2v2 fight.
Absolutely. My goodness gracious. Thank you so much. High Fort, baby boys. Now, you don't see High Fort over in EU. I'm super excited to talk about that. But before, let's get through some stats here. Look at the... Oh, goodness, 0 and 2. Humanist, again, our mathematics expert. What do you think about these stats?
Yes, well, statistically speaking, Slacks.
Yeah.
No, I would say that this looks like the teams that didn't make it to the finals. But this is just their record against the teams that were in the finals here. So, you know, it's a little bit deceptive. Ultimately, though, I do favor Team Killing Service. You see that they do have just slightly better stats here than On Flask, but at the end of the day, these are pretty two evenly matched teams.
Slightly better beards as well. Very powerful, full facial hair there. I haven't shaved in several weeks, and this is as much as I can get. So, very painful for me. Anyway, let's go ahead and see who is going to win based on chat's predictions here. Okay, that is extremely close. That is much closer than I thought it would be. So
statistically speaking, Slacks, it's not that close.
Okay, take it easy. Okay, now it's going up. So. Fine. What do you think, Sohinki? Team Killing Service? Is this working out for them?
Well, the one thing that TKS does have on their side is they have the exact same lineup that they did in Major number 3. You might think that's a bad thing since that was the one that they lost, but they have had a lot of time to practice together and really tighten things up with some of the newer members of the team. That being said, On Flask has a lot of veteran players. A lot of people really respect Vayne Nawir. You know, he's a lot of like For Honor comp resources people go to. Veteran players like Mambino on the team as well now. So I think this is really anyone's match, whether TKS is able to, you know, tighten up what they were losing out on in Major number 3. On Flask, obviously, the veteran players might just be able to carry them to victory. We'll see how it plays out, but if I had to give the edge to someone, I'm going to go TKS.
Okay, well, maybe we'll see a more, I'm not going to say competitive, but at least a longer series in this one. It seems like they are, on paper, a little bit more even as well here. But you don't be scared. Winning this game and knowing what's waiting for you in the next one. Humanist, is this one that you kind of want to, you know, maybe ride a little, you know what, forget it. Let's just find out what's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. I've just received word. We're ready to go into the game. Let's check it out. It is Team Killing Service versus, oh, you know him, you love him. Get those blasts in the air. Your Viking, get your horn. It's On Flask coming up right now. My beautiful casters, please. Go ahead.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, TKS looking for the TKO On Flask here. It's the Dominion Series Finals. These teams have ground all year. They've played through majors. They've played through the qualifiers. And now they have to put it all on the line. Team Killing Service, I feel like coming into this one has the edge. So you talked about it too. It just feels like they have a little bit of the edge coming into this. They've consistently performed just to a slightly higher degree. But the question is, have On Flask tightened up some of their mistakes? Can they come out and shake things up here today? It is pretty evenly matched up, and we have High Fort. This is one of the maps we rarely see picked here, and interesting to see it picked in this first map.
I have to point something out here. We are seeing a Warlord on the side of TKS. You know, normally something that we wouldn't necessarily be super surprised to see, but in this meta, definitely have not seen it that much. I wonder if this is a map-specific pick. Oh, I was just about to allude to those ledges, but Scorpion getting guard broken in the wrong spot is going to go for a ride, and now Clucky's, who wants to use his abilities to knock people off the ledge, is going to be forced to move back onto C. You see him go for that storming rush there, but ultimately going to miss, and now... Oh! Weeda's going to go down as well! I was just going to point out that really the Warlord is who you'd be looking to do these ledges, but now 2 members of Team Killing Service get ledged, and that is a disaster.
Yeah, that's not good. On Flask coming out hot with a triple cap, 450 points. It looks like they were cast or cursed on TKS's side. Rippy doing the full dance, but it's not going to be enough. Flip over towards point A, and Scorpion is holding it down, going up against Fusion. I know Scorpion was the first one to get ledged, I believe, and it looks like off the spawn made his way over to A. They'll get the kill. They'll get a nice execute off of the back of that. And Team Killing Service recapping A. Hopefully this will give them a little bit of breathing room and a second to assess their mistakes over the first 2 minutes of this game.
I really like seeing Scorpion on the JJ. You know, he was the Nobushi player back when Nobushi was in the meta, and obviously some similarities there with the Sifu stance as the hidden stance of Nobushi. So it's good to see him on there, closing that kill out on A, and now TKS looks to hopefully rectify their very early, very bad mistakes.
Well, early mistakes, you know, this is a game that you can get snowballed on, and early mistakes can be a real problem for you. Now, with that said, the game is not a runaway by any means. Team Killing Service have low health bars, but they're getting the work done. They have to clear out some of these minions who are chunking them down, consistently interrupting. It's not what you're looking for if you're lucky. You see him just getting hit. One more minion hit is going to go ahead and kill him. Fusion knows that, so Fusion's going to switch sides and keep the minions to his back, and eventually does take down. It's just a super awkward position. Plucky's knew if he tried to run, he would just get killed. Now Wheat gets jump hit from the side. He'll get taken down. That's 3 heroes dead. Team Killing Service crossing that now. 1 low respawn, but 2 executions. And another moment for On Flash to take control of this map.
Rippy looking wanted to rotate towards the middle, but we saw that his team was losing out. Really smart decision, I think, to just go and boost A, try and hold on to as many points as they can, while the rest of Team Killing Service was really good, really smart play from them. Very much, very controlled play, I'll say. Now Scorpion and Pluckies are looking to take back.
Willem taking the big heavy damage. Switch over, look at the Pluckies. This Warlord, you know, here we didn't see picked in all of you. Actually picked up over here. Hasn't done much for them thus far. Watch from the side of Scorpion. Scorpion, he'll slap Willem. Looking to target swap right back over to Willem. Willem knows that he's going to be attacked consistently from Scorpion if he does try to engage. This leaves him in a 1v1 off the side, gets a nice guard break. Scorpion surprised that he got caught out so hard and will get attacked back to back and dropped on down. Rippy's found Gothic. That's Banemoir out on the edge over here. And a nice dodge out by Banemoir to go ahead and avoid that kick and get the kill there. Last one very good.
They are looking very strong. Willem able to get peeled out here. Now Columbus being forced to fight against the Shinobi. Gothic Noir, of course, Bane Noir trying to back off from this fight now as well. And it looks as though TKS, even though they find themselves pretty far behind, are going to be able to take control of the middle, at least temporarily. They had the rotations off of A. That's what they're looking for. Bucky's gets guard broken from behind, though. I didn't quite see who did that here now on this JJ. Gonna get peeled off as well. That is 3 different members of On Flask who have been able to back out of this fight. So even though Scorpion and the side of TKS are winning out in this fight middle, they're not closing out any kills, so there's going to be a lot of fast rotations back on the side of On Flask.
Interesting moment though for TKS. They're contesting C, they're holding A. There's nowhere to heal on the map for On Flask, and they're gonna get knocked off the ledge. This is a big opportunity for TKS if they can go ahead and secure C. It's still contested. Fusion stays alive. It looks like he's gonna go down. 1 life, will be able to get the kill. They got the guard break, they've got the kill, and that's gonna be a reversal, a triple cap for Killing Service. I mean, everything just together for them. And this, I believe it was TKS, correct me if I'm wrong, so that picked this map. And I was wondering, even though it played a little sloppy early on, you know, when is this going to swing around? Because typically when a team picks a map, they have an idea exactly how they want to rotate and seize control.
Yeah, and I really want to shout out Rippy here, making a lot of the smart rotational plays. It was him that held on to A when it looked as though On Flask might triple cap them. And then ultimately it was Rippy that noticed that they had a lot of hurt players and nowhere to heal, and he just put pressure onto the C point. He was able to rotate in. Now it is the side of Team Killing Service that has complete control of this map. However, On Flask is looking to have something to say about that here on C.
Yeah, On Flask not leading things. It's a soft lead for TKS at this point. They have to control C. if they want to win this fight. It feels like this is actually what it all comes down to over here. Look at these Shinobis just moving around. How fun is that? Be able to get in and out of action that fast. Weak getting the kill over Will. Rippy taking down Guacamole. And with that, TKS taking potentially control of the game. We flipped back. It looks like A is contested. And TKS, this is kind of a big deal that they were holding down A. And to look over and see Scorpion and Clucky's low health bars, that's not what you're looking for. Clucky's, what are you going to do? You're going to jump off the edge? There's nowhere to go, but he's got no stamina. All revenge. Very important that it's triggered off. Possibly he gets a kill, but at least he's buying time for his teammate. Throws his own. The headbutt into the light. Nice plays, Clucky's. Able to get that there. Now, I think they will be able to get the respawn. Oh, actually not, because Wheat made the rotation on in as well.
We're going to have to do a good bit of anti-ganking here, as I don't think any support is even close by. Going to eat quite a bit of damage off that guard break. But no, Rippy with another rotation. Already has the nail bomb as well. See if he looks to use that to try and secure these kills here. He does drop it, and I think that's going to hit one of the members of On Flash. That is going to be a kill there for Rippy on the backside of the fight. Rashawn is going to go down. Now Fusion finds himself in a 2v1. Rippy with these rotations doing such a good job, but they do trigger off the revenge here. This fight is not over. Fusion has anything to say about it. The rotations are coming in on the side of On Flash as well, but Clucky's going to pop the Juggernaut. To be really annoying from behind with those headbutts, and I think that they are going to kill Fusion. Yes, they are. Guard break comes in. Raider gets eating so much damage. The Shinobi gank comes in, and now, oh my gosh, Bane Noir trying to hold on to this lead. But look at the blip totals here. It is perfectly even. Whoever wins this fight ultimately might just be the team that takes the whole map.
This is absolutely insane. This is what it comes down to, a fight on A. Young Gravity is down low. I don't think he's going to get a revenge triggered off. Oh, and Gothic Door comes in with the kick, kicking Clucky's back, healing for his teammate. Young Gravity stays alive. Clucky's will be chopped down. He will be executed. And not the execution, team killing service. Getting just ripped at the end here. On Flask, in the most important moment of the game, they're 20 points away from putting TKS into break. There we have it.
I think much like me, Rippy thought that if he used that nail bomb to get that kill quickly, they would be able to take that point and force the breaking onto the side of On Flask. Unfortunately for TKS, it was the exact opposite that happened. Those respawns happened so fast for On Flask because they weren't able to get any executions. Ultimately, the rotations came in, and now TKS finds themselves breaking here. They're going to try and hold On Flask off of the point, but I have to imagine they're not going to be able to force this double breaking, as it looks like Bane Noir, knowing that this is exactly the only way that TKS can get back into this map, he puts himself on the point, and he's going to look to force this fight.
Nice chunk damage coming out. Weak connecting there as well. Now they have been attacked from behind, but they're able to get the kill into Gothic Noir. Deep breath coming in from Zoinky there. You can hear it. He's just holding his breath. He's for the fences. Team killing service. They cannot afford to lose anyone, and it looks like they might be doing it right now as Willem gets taken down by Scorpion. Scorpion has phalanx available. I don't know if he's going to go ahead and throw it out here. Young Grab just triggered off. He dropped down incredibly low as well. What an insane fight on C. C, one of the craziest points in all of For Honor here on this high port mode. In Young Gravity chopped all down. Scorpion happy to take that one. Team killing service might be losing Rippy here. As Rippy shoved up on the side. Can anybody peel for this guy? They get the guard break. Gothic Noir top down, give him a heavy over the top. Oh, he gets the kick. Rippy, what are you doing? Back up, Rippy! I feel like Rippy, all you gotta sneeze on him. Rippy's gonna die here. There's nowhere for him to heal on the map, and of course he doesn't want to go ahead and rotate. Gothic Noir gets the kill. There was nothing Rippy could do. He wanted to just help his teammate. But with this, we've had the respawns. They made their way back out. Scorpion does get the kill on the Gothic Noir, but you got to feel it's just a matter of time before TKS gets put into the dirt here. On Flask, they will be losing another hero. I mean, I love to see that TKS isn't going down without a fight. They're trying for the revive. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe if they got one more kill, if they got a ledge, something like that. And I'm surprised that we actually didn't see anybody getting ledged here. Revenge triggered off from Wheat. These guys, I mean, I want to call that the game's over, but they just won't give up. They keep fighting. If they get 2 kills, they will be able to get a revive.
They actually did it!
Wow.
Are you kidding me? They actually got the
Absolutely
revive.
insane.
Willem being forced to come back in here by himself to try and stop this double